Good evening. Welcome back. This is the Maz and Sack cast.
Mm-hmm.
I am Maz,
Yes,
and
you
I am joined by the man of the hour, the man with the power. Sack, how are you?
Oh, look at this. Hold on. I'm just going to. Whoa! Dude, highest fucking ranked opponent for a win for the MAC, like in the MAC's history. I didn't really believe that when they said it, but I don't know if it's true even still. But it was awesome. But at the same time, obviously, totally bittersweet because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I mean, like, I went to NIU, but I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I know this loss is gonna fuck up basically their entire season. But it's so fucking amazing, dude. It's so fucking amazing for the MAC. Like, how do you and for NIU, like, how do you not be happy? So
I was thinking about this, and yes, it would fuck up their season.
Mm-hmm.
But this year there's 12 teams, so it really doesn't matter.
And
what I'm going to tell myself.
Yeah, no. I mean, that point was made by the announced team too before the end of the game, and it's a fair point, but you know. And my thought was, well, Notre Dame has to go for an at-large anyway. They're not playing a conference championship, so they don't get the benefit of win and get in, with a higher seed. They're stuck having to get an at-large anyway. But the at-large issue, who you lose to matters. And they lost to a MAC team who was picked to finish third in the MAC. Right now they're first because we're 2 weeks in and they're 2-0. But what do you like? I don't know. It's still the MAC. It's still the MAC.
They were picked third, right?
Third, yeah. They were picked to finish third. But I mean, there's a lot of football season left to go. But when you beat so that's another problem. When you beat the number 5 team in the country. And building up to that game, the promos didn't even say like who Notre Dame was playing. It was just Notre Dame's home opener, blah, blah, blah. Like they didn't even say who they were playing. And I mean, I'm not saying that it was disrespectful. It's a MAC school, I get it. And, while I was living in DeKalb, the issue my wife and I had was that the town did not support the university. Right now we live in the Madison area and holy fuck, like you can't go anywhere with Wisconsin without seeing with Wisconsin stuff painted on windows, like of businesses. Like the town supports the university. In DeKalb, they didn't give a fuck about NIU. Like they didn't care. And it's a small town. So I find that even more odd. And they could recruit Chicago players. Like they could. I saw a thing recently that they were one of the schools that was going to be like in the original Big 8, I think it was going to be called. And because they had the Chicago market, this was way back in the 70s or some shit. And like, I think about that now and it's like, dude, what a difference that would have made having them be in a power conference back then. Like they'd be a different university right now because grade standards aren't an issue. I did graduate from there. I have a degree. I'm just being a shithead. I'm an alumnus. Like I don't, But anyway, cheers to you, NIU. Good job.
I looked at their roster, and they don't really have a lot of Chicagoland players. They're from everywhere.
Yeah,
so and they surprising.
They talked during the game about how all their offensive linemen are from the state of Wisconsin, and I think that's just fucking great. Like they should be. Like you're that close to the border. DeKalb's only an hour from the border, maybe an hour and a half tops.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean Wisconsin. That's how they come.
Cheesy.
They're big boys. Oh yeah, cheesy. That's the biggest problem about living here is all the cheese.
Yeah, there's probably not a lot of poop that goes through the toilets and the sewers because all the cheese.
Yes, everyone's just constantly constipated.
Yeah, absolutely. No one can shit.
No one can shit.
So we're starting this little series, and What have you seen through 2 weeks that thoroughly impresses you? Like, what teams stand out?
Well, I mean, again, I know that I'm harping on this, but the MAC has shown up for 2 weeks now. The first week, I gave them a pat on the back for showing up, playing some teams hard. And then this week, NIU comes out and upsets the number 5 team. Bowling Green played their asses off, and, they had Penn State in trouble. They had Penn State in trouble a couple of times late in that game. And I mean, I like to see them out there repping. I know that NIL, everyone talks about NIL, how it's going to fuck things like that up, but is it? I don't know. The other thing, the Big Ten, I felt like showed their asses a little bit this week. Michigan getting fucking blown out by Texas, man. Like, how the fuck? Who saw that shit coming? Yeah. Anyone that watched the shot, what's it? Not Shot Caller. That's a movie I watched. Sign Stealer. The Untold Stallions thing. Anyone who watched that and already hated Jim Harbaugh, they're looking at that blowout going, yeah, see, I fucking told you. Whereas, same with, Notre Dame. Everybody that hates Notre Dame every year and says they're overrated going into a season, they just got beat by a MAC team. So, you're going to scream overrated. And Michigan is obviously not yeah.
They're not a powerhouse this year.
No, they're not. They're not going to the national championship. They're probably not going to win the Big Ten. Ohio State looks pretty fucking good.
They haven't played anybody yet, though.
No, I know, yeah. But the more weeks you go without playing somebody big, the more time you have to make your mistakes against teams that can't capitalize, and then you fix those mistakes before you have to play anybody. I mean, it's why we see teams play cupcakes, because they don't get hurt when they fuck up in the first couple of weeks, and you're going to fuck up. Every team has kids that have never fucking started on a college football field. So like there's going to be, and they've only had so much time to work together. They're not, I mean, the NFL showed it today, I'm sure we're going to talk about that too, but even in the NFL, like you're going to have week 1 jitters, week 2 jitters, you're getting everything together. So playing the cupcakes, people make fun of it, but honestly, I think one of the reasons Notre Dame slept on NIU was because they were tired from what they put themselves through in order to beat A&M in week 1, because that was a grind of a game. We talked about it last week, but I mean, they were like, oh fuck, we just won our hardest game of the year already. Like that's going to be our hardest game we play all season. Oops.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, what else? Oh, and NIU, I see the new rankings are out. I don't know if you've gotten to look at them. Notre Dame dropped all the way down to 18th.
NIU slipped in at 25.
25. That we'll see. We'll see how that. I mean, if they go undefeated in the MAC, can we just? I'm sorry. I know we need to move on from NIU. But I got to take my moment to shine and talk about my school, my alma mater. But if they go undefeated in the MAC, right? They have to win a conference championship, but it's not an automatic bid. But like if they go undefeated in the MAC and they beat the then ranked number 5 Notre Dame, and Notre Dame goes undefeated the rest of the season, so they're a 1-loss team.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're not.
You don't think Notre Dame's going undefeated the rest of the season?
No.
Who do you think beats them?
USC the last week. I think USC right now is a top 5 team.
Do you really?
I really like them. I'm very impressed.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue. I like I said, I'm going to be my opinions on them are going to be a little bit buoyant. That's probably not the right fucking word. They're going to be like kind of flexible. Like I've hated them for so long, but now that they're in the Big Ten, it's kind of like I'm a Big Ten guy through and through. So if they can represent the Big Ten well, I mean, I'm going to be cool with them as much as I can be.
I think so. I'll do it this way.
Yeah.
Georgia is really good.
Yeah.
Tennessee is really damn good.
Yeah.
USC is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama was in a barn burner last night. They still won 42-16, but it was close throughout.
Dude,
Texas is really good.
How the fuck did that game end that way? Like I was watching it.
It was what, 21-16 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, well, it was 17. No, because, well, whatever. It was very fucking close. And then all of a sudden,
14-13.
Yeah, they got a pick six, and then they blocked, dude, then they just, fourth quarter, just ran away with it. The USF kids obviously gave the fuck up. They, as soon as they all hung their heads and said, well, we lost, and didn't fight the rest of the way out. That's sad. So, yeah, Texas, I think, because I know we're going to pile on Michigan, and a lot of people are going to pile on Michigan, but I don't think we should lose sight of how good Texas actually is. They probably have the number one pick in the draft. Oh, come on, dude. Who goes above him? Who goes above him? Right now.
Back. Georgia.
I don't know. We'll see. There's
Shadir Sanders.
Dude, what the fuck? That, I don't know. I'm assuming at this point that most of the stories that I saw go viral about Colorado this off season or whatever you call it, were bullshit. I mean, we're internet nonsense talking about them beating up on people and shit like that.
ESPN hype.
And that it's just turned into a prison yard and shit. I mean, they've laid it on fucking thick. What it appears to me is that there's clearly, oh no, Maz dropping again, dude. Maz joined. Anyway, back to what I was saying about Colorado. It does appear that there's some high level dysfunction. And I mean, they've got guys playing both ways, which I love the hustle, but I said it last week. How many weeks are they gonna make it? How many weeks before they break down mentally? Well, I feel like we're getting that answer right now, real quick, which is sad. But yeah, Brett, I'm going to take a moment here to shout out my homie, Brett Bielema. I'm sorry, buddy. I got to do it. I know you're a KU guy. I was going to say a J Hawk, which I don't, whatever. Anyway, Brett Bielema. Okay. I've got a thing about this. When I first moved to Wisconsin, he was the coach. He had just come in to Wisconsin, and he took them to the highest level they had been to in a long, long time, as far as I know. And like I said, I had just moved here, so I wasn't a Wisconsin fan, but I dove right in because they were going to Rose Bowls, and it's like, dude, and like I said, the town is electric. Madison is electric for their games. The whole town is amazing. But the relationship between the media and Bielema got really contentious, and then there were some scandals, whatever. And he bitched about how the university refused to pay his assistants, so he was just constantly losing them to other jobs. And the Madison faithful really hated him. They were like, oh, he wanted more money, he was this, he was that. He thought that he was in charge when really it was the athletic director at the time,
Barry Alvarez.
Yeah, who is just a god in this area. And so they kicked him out and kind of flipped him off when he left town. The articles in the paper were terrible, just hating on him. So he goes to Arkansas and didn't really get a chance. I thought he would do well in the SEC. Arkansas, he didn't really get a chance. And then when he fell into the U of I job, I was kind of shocked, to be honest, because Lovey, kind of coasted on his name for so long there. I was like, okay, so this is like he's going to go there to die, or he's going to turn on the recruiting juices and take a college a university that is prime to turn into exactly what Wisconsin turned into, because like their academic standards are very similar. Like, so, U of I is not a bullshit school. It's
very, very tough school to get into.
So, and they have a great stadium. They have a fantastic stadium to watch football. And I've been there a couple of times for U of I games and for Bear games when they had to play there while Soldier was getting redone. And it's been remodeled since then, obviously, but it's a really nice place. But they have a lot to offer. And, I think U of I might be prominent. Like, I think they are going to be prominent. Their recruiting is obviously working. They have some dudes that, I mean, they looked okay, and they're they're a mid to low mid Big Ten team, and I think they're going to surprise some fucking people. I do.
I don't think so.
Well, you thought Kansas was going to fucking win the national championship.
I did.
So.
And then I watched yesterday's game, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. So for Illinois, yesterday was their first sellout since 2016, which is good. Great for the program.
Yeah,
they ran on the field when they beat Kansas. Kansas has been the laughing stock of college football for the last 10 years. Kansas was running at 7.5 yards per carry, and they started throwing deep balls and interceptions. They threw a shitty pick six to end the first half.
Yes, they did.
And he fumbled on the last play. So our Heisman quarterback, Jalen Daniels, had 4 turnovers yesterday, and the game plan was ridiculous. Illinois made plays.
He still played better than Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, he did. He didn't have a good game at all. He will bounce back, I would presume. But kudos to Illinois. They made the plays and they won. So with that being said, they are a mid to lower team in the Big Ten. But you never know, because momentum can be scary. They start to believe in the coach and believe in themselves. You saw what happened with Coach Hammock at NIU.
Dude, I was ready all over the place.
I was ready to run through a fucking wall for the guy when he started crying.
Right?
It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So give Illinois their due. They're not very good, but they were good enough yesterday.
All right.
And you just have to win by 1. So good for them. Iowa State beating Iowa at Iowa last second. That's always a rivalry game. It's always close.
Yeah.
So good for them. I don't think they're a very good team either. They're going to go to a bowl game. They always do.
Dude, you got to stop, because you moved on, and I want to talk about Illinois a little bit more. One second. I'm looking at their schedule right now, right?
Okay.
So they've got Central Michigan next, right? At home. That'll be a cupcake win. Then they go to Nebraska.
They're going to get fucking demolished.
Then they go to Penn State.
They'll play Penn State close.
Yeah, I think so. Then they have Purdue at home, then Michigan at home. Then they go to Oregon.
They're terrible. Oregon is bad.
I know, but it's Oregon.
Illinois. Yeah.
Minnesota. They get Minnesota at home, then Michigan State at home, then Rutgers away, then Northwestern away. So at least like the end of their schedule, when they come back from Oregon, they'll
they could go 4-0.
Yeah, but
also that Northwestern game, don't forget, that's being played on a lake with like 500 students or 500 seats. So, have you seen that stadium?
No, is that Wait, what are they doing for that? No,
It's
I
like
haven't seen
it's
it.
like on a pier, and they made a football stadium out of it.
Oh, no shit.
It's really small.
Cool.
There's like 5 rows of seats all around it. That's it.
Well, that's going to be interesting.
Look it up.
So to me, the biggest loss in that entire schedule is probably Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Nebraska's a team I'm going to be high on for the rest of the year too. Like I'm going to be high on them until they show me something else. Like the Big Ten looks good, dude. I'm happy with it. Obviously, Michigan showed their ass, and that made everybody look bad. And Penn State almost let Bowling Green take a game from them. But other than that,
you want to talk about Michigan showing their ass, but this is the same thing that we see every year because we're basing these rankings off of a bunch of nerds that listen to people talk. So
you mean preseason rankings?
Correct. It's all about an AP.
Yeah.
These dudes haven't ever had sex. They just listen to people talk. So this happens every year. It's nothing new.
I mean, you kind of go off of what you see, right? And Michigan won the national championship. I don't know why I doubted myself on that.
But they lost their quarterback, they lost their running back, they lost their coach.
Yeah.
So it's a new program.
It shouldn't be though. I mean, I guess the portal kind of hurts everybody. I don't know who they lost either. Like I'm not. Yeah. But okay. Anyway, I'm just scrolling through the last couple nuggets here, dude. Tulane played a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Tulane played a hell of a game.
Arkansas played a hell of a game.
Yeah.
2 overtimes against Oklahoma State. And Ollie Gordon was crap yesterday. So you got to look that up for them. Kansas State, they win.
Oh, my God.
They're not that good. Their quarterback sucks.
Dude, that was fingernails. Like I said, Tulane played a really good game. They played, like I watched a lot of that one. Like
if he doesn't throw that pick at the end.
Yeah, they played pretty well. But yeah, some K-State, maybe not the team that people thought they were. Again, it's only week 2. Long way to go. And in the end, they don't ask how, they ask how many, right? So
Utah looked really good at the beginning of the game. It was like 5 minutes in there, a 14-0 on Baylor for their first Big 12 game. So I think they're the cream of the crop right now in the Big 12.
All right. So looking to next week, are we ready to look to next week?
Well, next week that's the party in Madison, right?
Alabama's coming to town for their game. I don't know what that's gonna fucking look like.
Wisconsin. We didn't cover Oklahoma just squeaking by Houston.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually. That was a game that went by me. That was one that went by me. You know, every week
last night.
Oh, okay.
And then Oregon kicked the field goal with 3 seconds left to win against Boise.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either. So
yeah, they stink.
Yeah, I mean, okay, they haven't looked good the first 2 weeks. They're gonna have to play hard teams. That's the thing. Like, I think we're gonna see what some of these teams. The problem. Okay, hold on. Let me compose myself here. The thing I love about college football. The thing I love the most about college football is that I feel is kind of an intangible, and I don't know how many people even really pay attention to it, but it's how fragile the teams are in a game, not just over the course of a season, but just in a game, because they're college kids, and not all of them are meant for professional football. Not all of them are meant, they deserve to be at the level they're at, but some of these schools are, they're getting guys that maybe want to be there. Some of them at that point probably don't even like the program or whatever. The point is, not all of them are professional football factories. There's a lot of college programs that play football, and very few of them are professional football player factories. So you get these volatile games where you can have kids lose their minds, man. Like if things just don't go right, or if they get a little bit too outside of the football player part of themselves, like, and you can see momentum swings that are just beyond incredible. When you have two confident teams, you can see some of the craziest score run-ups you'll ever see. And it's like and a lot of times it looks like they're making plays that they'll never make again in their lives. Like, it's some of the best shit you'll ever see. So with all of that said, I think a lot of these teams play down a little bit too when you're watching them play opponents that maybe they take lightly, and they play down, and they almost get caught, right? But when they play in a huge game under the lights on a Saturday night on ABC and they have 100,000 people in a stadium, all of a sudden they're going to look like gods. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm hesitant to throw any teams over the bus at this point. Even Notre Dame losing the way they did, I'm still not throwing them over the bus. They took the hit in the rankings, and they're going to have to crawl their way back up, and they're going to need people to lose ahead of them. But people will, because the hard parts of schedules come up real quick now because these conferences are so fucking big. Speaking of which, yeah, so you got Alabama, Wisconsin. That's one that is going to be big.
Arizona, K-State.
Yeah, well, that's kind of interesting to see who shows up. I'm not sure which team's going to show up. Everyone else has kind of got pushovers. Tennessee's got Kent State, and I don't know anything about Kent State right now.
They lost to St. Francis yesterday.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it then. I was going to say, but watch out because the MAC is coming. But yeah, that's
they're not coming.
Well, hey, Miami gets Ball State. So what do we know about Ball State? How's Ball State doing?
They're not good. Miami is really good. Miami's a top 10 team right now.
So they just hit the top 10. Miami, I want to see again, obviously, because we got to see them week 1, but not week 2. So they look good. Missouri, Boston College, you got 2 ranked teams going at each other.
Missouri is good. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I don't know much about their team right
Brady
now.
Cook is their quarterback. He's good.
Okay.
They were what, 3rd in the SEC last year?
Okay.
So Elia, their coach, Elia Drinkowitz, he's doing a really good job. I'm going to put you on upset alert.
Ooh.
Tulane might go into Oklahoma and beat them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's a game I want to watch. That's a game I want to watch. Now that I've seen Tulane and now that I've seen Oklahoma, which I didn't watch a lot of it, but I've seen them. That's a game that's going to be the one that I highlight for the afternoon slot for sure.
I wish I could highlight afternoon slots, but DirecTV is not giving us ABC or ESPN right now. So I might have to go other ways to watch games next week.
They threaten that shit all the time, but I've never actually seen them follow through on it.
Oh, yeah. If you put on ABC or ESPN, there's just a QR code that comes up and says, we aren't offering this program at this time. Our contract is expired.
That fucking sucks. That's some bullshit. Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. YouTube TV is the route that I go.
I might get a 3-week trial if it's not resolved this week. Oregon State's always a good rivalry game. That's a 3:30.
Utah
Notre Dame,
State.
Utah State got dog washed by USC last week.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
I wouldn't expect that. Notre Dame Purdue's a rivalry game, isn't it?
Yes.
So you never know.
It's in-state rivalry. Purdue's going to be licking their chops.
Yeah, with that big drum.
Man. Yeah.
Isn't that what they're known for? The big drum.
With the huge mallets.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
and their pork tenderloins.
Blood in the water, as they like to say. So
it's a shame because I like Marcus Freeman, but Riley Leonard sucks.
I know you're on that. I mean, I watched every fucking second of that game to the utmost scrutiny. Okay. And I couldn't tell you how Notre Dame lost. It just, they just didn't play. Like, I couldn't tell you if they were playing so terribly because what I saw was a Northern team that played a really good game of football, in my opinion. Like, they ran the ball, which is what you want to do. You want to run the ball.
Davis was running everywhere.
And you want manageable third downs. They had manageable third downs the entire game. You want to win the takeaway battle. I'm pretty sure they did that. Like you just like they played a sound football game, and Notre Dame just didn't look like a top tier, athletically gifted, in sync team that should win that game, even when Notre Dame or a team like Northern is playing perfect. But I mean, they didn't look great. I didn't feel like they did anything so awful that like they fucked up the game. I just think Northern earned the win in that game.
They did,
but Purdue is I don't know how good Purdue is, but I mean, I would assume they're better on paper than Northern Illinois. So they should feel confident. They should feel confident, and it's in their house too.
I'll tell you what happened in the Notre Dame game. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame came down, scored easily, got the 7-0 lead. Northern came back, punching in the mouth, and Notre Dame shit themselves a little bit and kind of froze. So in the long run, it's going to be a better thing for Notre Dame because this week of practice, they're going to come together and they're going to beat Purdue by 20.
There you go. I like that call way better than mine because I want to see Notre Dame fucking win out. And I know you don't think they're going to.
USD looks fucking good, man.
Here, I actually don't. I haven't. I should know my favorite team's entire schedule.
They play Louisville is their highest ranked team. I think they play. Then they play Georgia Tech, Florida State. Like it's manageable.
Dude, what the fuck, man? So is Florida State just awful?
Yeah.
Like were we just lied to? Like,
well, everybody transferred. Remember, once they didn't get to the Final Four bowl game, everybody transferred.
Dude, they're like I looked at that game as oh no. Oh, I still look like I'm here. I still see you. You can't hear me anymore? Okay.
It's me.
All right. Well, we can. You wanna?
That's.
Oh, what? Am I good? No. Old Tannenbaum, old Tannenbaum.